Hi, my name is Heather DeShazer, and I'm doing my educational thinker presentation on Mary Wollstonecraft. So Mary was born April 27th of 1759. She passed away September 10th of 1797, and she was an educational philosopher and a women's rights activist. She really advocated for a lot of things that I will get later on to in this video, but let's just go ahead and get into a little bit about Mary. So Mary was an educational philosopher, and she believed that education should be available for both men and women. During this time, women really didn't go to school. It was mainly just men, and she wanted to eventually change that. So she was born in London in, like I said, April of 1759, and she didn't really have the best home life. Her father was an abusive drunk, and she had a very, very cold mother. A few decades go by, and her mother actually ended up passing away. So she convinced her sister to eventually leave her husband that she had because he was abusive. So they ended up moving away, and they opened up a school, Newington Green, in 1784. Mary, her sister, and her best friend, Mary's best friend, Fanny. It was open up for a few years, but it actually ended up having to close down due to financial reasons. So a few years go by, and Mary ended up publishing a book called The Vindication of Rights of Women in 1792. And with this, a lot of things would end up changing for women, and they would be treated the same as men in the field of education. Mary really never believed in getting married or anything, so she was in this one relationship, and she had a child with this man, but she got pregnant, and the relationship started to get a little bit rocky, so they cut things off, and Mary actually tried to attempt suicide twice. A few years go by, and she ended up getting together with William Godwin, which was her second husband, and she always went on and on to say like how good he was to her and that he was the best man in the world for her. She ended up passing away 10 days after the birth of her second born. To get into some few education ideas that Mary really advocated for was that she believed that men and women should both be educated equally. She believed that there should be a co-education environment for both men and women. And then she also had an idea of the reform school system in Europe. Some impacts on education that she really believed in was that she published her Vindication of Rights of Women book in 1792. She was a feminist philosopher in the field of education, and then she really advocated, for the human rights as they are for men. She wanted them to be the same as for women. So during this time, Mary came from a time whenever women didn't really receive any type of education. She believed that for wives and mothers and daughters, for them to be good women and good companions for men, that they should also be able to hold down good positions in society, that they should be co-educated, and that they should be educated the same as men are during this time. Women were just being taught the basic math and reading and writing, and one can say that is the bare minimum. So to get into the co-education environment, Mary really believed that men and women should be companions as it says in the Bible. So like I said, that for them to be in a good co-education environment and be good companions, they should be together, and that she believed that men and women can learn a lot from each other if they were in that co-education environment. Mary also believed that schooling should be free and available to everyone worldwide. There should be in-school and at-home learning. During this time, parents were sending their children to boarding schools and private schools in Europe, and obviously that's pretty expensive, and she believed that education should be free and accessible to anybody and everyone, no matter their race, wealth, anything like that. So to get into a few things going into the Bible, so God really advocated and expressed in the Bible that men were leading in the holy manner, and that women were generally compliant with the man, and the man should work and be the breadwinner, and women should stay home, take care of the children in the house, and be a good mother. So like I said, Mary really advocated for women to become better wives and mothers by having an education and be that good companion with their husbands. To go into some critiques, an outside critique that I would have to say from Mary was that education should be available for no matter the wealth, poor, wealthy children, and that she really only advocated for free public education to go on to an extent so non-wealthy children can get an education and then go into the workforce, while children that come from wealthier families ended up going to get higher education in college. A personal critique that I would have to say is that I understand her concept and her advocacies, but she doesn't advertise for children to get the equal opportunity to access higher education. So she really never said, like, what's the next step for children. So like I said, she primarily was a feminist and supported women, the right for women in education. Thank you.